I wasn't able to make a vlog the last couple days. I've been busy with my own life and other events going on, but I've been meaning to talk about more for the Oakland A's expansion, relocation to Las Vegas. Which I understand that they bought the land. It's going to happen. It's going to either happen at the very end of this year or the very latest 2024 when their lease is up in Oakland. And in the meantime, I think they're going to be playing in the Aviators Stadium for the next few years when their new stadium in Vegas is completed. So that's what's going to happen based on everything that I've been seeing and my own predictions on the matter. So what's going to happen next for the MLB? The A's are going to be going to Vegas. So that's one domino. What's about the second one? The Rays. Unlike the A's, the Rays are the top team in the MLB right now, but also like the Athletics, the Rays have a huge stadium issue that they're dealing with. And Tropicana Field is notorious in the same way that Oakland Coliseum is. So I personally feel whether their lease is up by 2028 or it might be a bit sooner, they will leave that stadium. Now, where will they go? They can either go to Ybor, which is in the Tampa area, or they could potentially move to Nashville. In my opinion, based on what I'm looking at the moment, they'll probably stay in Tampa for the time being. But if they don't, I think they go to Nashville. But if I'm leaning more in towards them staying in Tampa, because from everything I've been seeing, there's not really much of an interest to relocate at the moment because Nashville seems like they're more intent on expansion as opposed to relocation. Montreal's a different story, though. If they were to move, it would probably be towards Montreal, but I'm not sure they want to go to Montreal either. Now, you'd have the A's move to Vegas, and let's say hypothetically the Rays decide to stay in Tampa with their new stadium. Now, what does that mean for the rest of the MLB? Well, sorry about that. So, for those that haven't been paying attention to the news, Rob Manfred said that they're not going to entertain the possibility of expanding to 32 teams, a number they do want to get to, until they get the stadium situation sorted out between the Athletics and the Rays. Well, the A's is already settled. They're going to go to Vegas. Rays are still up in the air, but let's say eventually they get that done. Now, how are you going to go to 32? First off, I got to look at where you want to go to. I mentioned Nashville for your first location. Everything that's going on, you have the politicians back in it, you have the celebrities back in it, you have notable figures, Dave Stewart's back in it. They're going to be called the Nashville Stars, based off of, that's what they would call themselves, based off of an old Negro League team. Sounds fine. I would have preferred something different, but I'm okay with Stars as well, especially if it's based off the Negro League team. As for the other city, that's a bit questionable because they're not going to go to just 31. They're going to have an even number of teams. They're going to put in one team for the American League and one team for the National League. Now, there's several situations that they can go. They could double down on the Southeast and put another one in like Charlotte, but I don't see them doing that. The only way I could see Charlotte and Nashville getting a team is if one of them is a relocation, the other one is an expansion. So I can't see Charlotte if a team in Nashville is added. I would love to see Montreal, but I can't see Montreal getting a team from expansion. I think it would have to be a team relocating over to Montreal. So those are really the teams in the East. New Orleans, I've seen nothing. Texas, some people are thinking that maybe they can go to San Antonio or Austin. For me personally, I have not seen any indication from anyone in those cities that they'd be interested in an MLB team. Though I do think if they do if Texas does get a third team, it would have to be a National League team, as the American League already has both the Astros and the Rangers. Oakland, I know that some guys want to see Oakland get another team, but I just can't see it, guys. Oakland's been trying to get a new stadium and, of course, failing for many years. And not only that, all the teams are leaving Oakland. So, yeah. They couldn't even keep the Warriors, Raiders, or the A's. I think it's very foolish to assume that they're going to get an expansion team where they didn't really even fight that hard to keep the A's. I just can't see that even remotely being a serious possibility. I'm sorry, guys. There's no way that's going to happen. And Vancouver, some people want to see, but again, it's similar to Montreal. Like, but if they were to go to Canada, it would be to Montreal, it wouldn't be to Vancouver. But that leaves us down to 2 locations that they would do. There's Portland, Oregon, and Salt Lake City, Utah. Portland has been something that they've been talking about for a while. It had a lot of support, I think like 50,000 signatures. I think Russell Wilson's also backing it, and Ciara. My main question with Portland is that its population has decreased a little bit over the years, and crime has gone up a little bit. I'm not sure how much that will affect things, but it could affect it a little bit. The other location, Salt Lake City, it's in the state of Utah, which is the fastest growing state in the nation. Salt Lake City is not really around anything, sort of like they have an MLS team and an NBA team, of course, and Salt Lake City is a city on the rise. Even though I do question the renderings for Salt Lake City, I'm starting to feel more and more that Salt Lake City would probably get a team before Portland. I don't know why, I just have that gut feeling that because Salt Lake City is on the up and up, I think they'll be more likely to take them compared to Portland, who, despite being up for a while, their population's gone down. So I don't think they'd be as likely to go there. So that's what I think would happen. I think if it's Nashville and Salt Lake City / Portland, it would be the Nashville team would be a National League team, and the Salt Lake City or Portland team would be an American League team. If let's say Montreal were to get a team, I think they'd be a National League team, and Nashville would be the American League team. And that would be the same case if they get a third team in Texas. They would be a National League team, whereas the Nashville team would be an American League team. As for divisional lineups, some people think it would be like an NHL format where they have 4 divisions of 8 teams each, and some people think they'd have an NFL format where they would have 8 divisions with 4 teams each. I think they'd go with the NFL format, though I can also understand the idea of an MLB and an NHL format, as by doing that, if you want to keep the same 12 playoff teams per league, you'd have the two division winners with first round byes, and you have the top 4 teams that don't win their division playing the wild card round. Same thing, but if you had like the NFL way, you would do what the NFL playoffs did from 2002 to 2019. You'd have the top 2 division winners get first round byes, and then the other 2 division winners host the 2 wild cards. Obviously, the NFL's expanded upon that by adding a 3rd wild card that goes against the 2 seed, and only the 1 seed gets the bye. And the MLB has pondered that idea in the past, like just last year. But the MLB had 10. The MLB players wanted 10 playoff teams. The owners wanted 14. They came to a compromise of 12, and that's why right now we have a format in which the top 2 division winners get byes for the divisional round, and then the third division winner hosts against the 3rd wild card, and then you have the 1st and 2nd wild card facing against each other in a best of 3. I think it's going to definitely spur more discussion. It's been discussing a lot.